things.
You've been doing a lot of things.
I'm ready to do some not so many things.
Yeah, you're way overdoing your things.
I'm doing all the things.
Yes, and when the baby comes, you're not gonna be able to do any
of the
things.
things.
That's right.
It's gonna be and we're live, by the way.
Oh, we're live.
Oh boy.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, our friends on
Hello.
YouTube. We're getting started here. All right. Well, I'm ready once I turn this back on.
Here's hoping our audio is working right. It looks like it is. I'm a big fan of that.
On the tube of you,
Your tube, my tube, all of our
everybody's
tube, everyone's tube.
everyone's tube. You looking at it on your phone to see if it's working or no?
No, I figured that was what you were doing.
No, I was getting the audio ready for
Well,
the
then that's what
opening
I will do.
credits. I'm doing it
Okay, then
now.
I will not do it.
Now,
I'll
Andor
drink some
episodes 1
coffee.
through 3, BanthaMilk podcast.
Your tube, my tube.
I hear that, tubes. Sounds good to me.
All of the tube.
All of the tubes.
I'm a tube. He's a tube. She's a tube. Because we're all tubes.
Live chat. Let's see if I can live chat. Hi.
Hello.
Boom. 3D Elvis says hi.
Hi, 3D Elvis.
Uh-huh.
That was nice. I like
Thank
that.
you. Thank you very
Thank you very
much.
much. That was going to be a missed opportunity if you didn't catch
if
that.
I didn't follow through on that one.
Yeah.
All right, let's
do it live.
Let's do it live. We'll do it live. On this episode of BanthaMilk Podcast, Nick and Rob talk all about the first uno, dos, tres episodes of Andor.
Si, senor.
Spoilers ahead.
Intro
music.
Wait, that's not it.
What? He's no good to me, Dad.
Intro music. Intro music.
Bounty hunting is a complicated
I
profession.
got to tell you, if you're not catching your YouTube streams, you're really missing out on a
You
treat
are.
during those first couple of seconds.
You are missing out on us dancing.
You know, if you ever wanted to see two people who should not dance and two people, it's like, oh, now I get why it's a podcast.
No, yes, you don't want to watch us
No.
actually pretend to.
I don't know, man. I
dance
look
of
down
some
and I go,
sort.
you know what? Those are two guys having a good time.
That's
anyway,
right. Anyway,
they are BanthaMilk podcast, and my
And-
voice is almost all the way here.
it is almost here.
It is, but we are back live with more new content.
Yes,
Very
and a
excited.
lot of it. I originally thought there was only 9 episodes. 2 seasons of Andor, 12 episodes each.
Okay, so they've committed to 2 seasons.
They've committed to 2
and
seasons.
we've only seen 1/4 of this season.
1/4 of this season.
And they're releasing the rest uno by uno.
Yes, so it's going to go all the way until the end of November.
Oh man.
Yes.
I'm going to bring my child onto the show
I
for
know.
some of these episodes.
There will be a baby dressed up like Rey or Leia
or Yoda
or Yoda
or
or
you know.
any other
What was
Star
the
Wars-
name of the officer, the really Melvin-y officer in the first 3 episodes?
Melvin-y officer?
Yeah,
Not
he's like a Melvin. You know, like kind of a nerd dweeb.
not
The guy with the nose.
the guy with the nose.
Yeah, the guy who's like the bad guy.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He's like the main bad guy. He's got like a complex where he has to prove himself.
Not Darth Vader.
No, in Andor, bro.
Oh, in Andor.
Yeah.
Oh. Geez, I thought you were talking about the first 3 movies, and I'm
No.
like, what on earth are you talking about?
I don't remember his name. I'm not good at remembering names on these things. But
No, I'm
my daughter could dress as that guy too. You know?
Yes, I'm pulling it up. It's oh, of course they don't have names for the people. Oh, Srilin Karn.
Karn.
Yes, Syril.
SYR.
Swirl.
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 Squirrel Karn.
Yes. So that guy.
That guy.
Yeah, he's a little
He's uptight.
uptight.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get to that because we
Yes.
have 3 episodes, 3 things, 3 content worthy things to break down.
To break down.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's gonna be good.
It will be
and
good.
I gotta tell you, we're a little late this week. I understand. My apologies. We're gonna try and get closer to release it. What is it? Wednesdays?
So September 28th is when episode 1.4 comes out.
So that's Wednesday.
So that is, yes, today's the 25th already. So that will be Wednesday. So
Right.
the rest of them will be all coming out on Wednesdays.
Wednesday.
Yes. September 28th, October 5th, October 12th, October 19th, 26th, November 2nd, November 9th, November 16th. Very important day. my birthday.
Oh man,
Yes,
it's gonna
episode
be a heck of a
11.
show.
I know. Episode 11 comes out on November 16th. Episode 12, the final episode of the season, comes out on November 23rd.
Wow,
My guess is that is
for
right
Thanksgiving
before
weekend.
Thanksgiving. Yes, so that's a good one because everybody's going to be able to party hard that night. We are all
Andor
going to be
parties.
big Andor parties at
Yeah,
all the bars.
that's a pretty common thing. I think you go down like to your local neighborhood bar, and they're having a very specific niche genre Star Wars
Yes,
night.
there will be, cover bands playing nothing but Star Wars music.
Yeah, Star Wars themed drinks like our blue milk we had last
The
week.
blue milk, yes. I tweeted to them. I forget the name of the brewery offhand.
Did they respond?
They did respond. They were like, "I hope you like it." I was like, "Yeah, it was cool." And I was like, "Maybe you should like listen to the podcast." And then they
And then
ignored
they
me.
ghosted us.
They gave me a thumbs up, like, "Yeah, cool." And they're like, "Yeah, I'm done talking to you." So
That's all right.
that's all right. B2EMO.
B2EMO.
B2EMO. B2EMO. B, that's the name of the
BMO,
droid.
right? I thought it was BMO. I was like,
BMO.
when I first saw it, I thought it was BMO, but it's not.
He calls them B all the time, but
does.
the call letters are B2EMO. And there's Dave Chapman is the voice of that.
Okay.
I
I like him.
want to be him because all he does is he makes noise. Oh no, he actually talks.
No, he's
I take that
like
back.
one of
He
the
talks.
few like
Droids that can talk.
like
Yeah.
astromech like droids that like straight up. He's not very good at it.
No, he's
Clearly,
fun.
he's been damaged or something.
Yeah, he I like to think of him like a labradoodle or labrador that can talk.
Yeah, like so. What is? So was it Mars Attacks where there was a dog that could talk? Oh no, Mars Attacks. There was the Chihuahua with the woman's head on it.
Men in Black, the dog
Man in
could
Black.
talk.
Oh, you know what it was? It was Rick and Morty.
Okay.
In Rick and Morty, like I think a dog gets like a little collar that lets it speak English.
Okay.
And that's what I imagine is like
Yes.
like a labradoodle that
Yeah.
has that on it.
Or even Up. What a great movie that was.
Yes, Kevin.
Kevin. Yeah,
I am your friend.
He's
and
a
I
lot
love
like
you.
Kevin. I wonder
Yeah.
if they based him
I
off of Kevin.
already popped the
You did.
BanthaMilk because
Okay, so Nick already
my
popped some
throat
BanthaMilk.
needs a little help right now. So
I have Sea Isle from New Jersey. Sea Isle spiked iced tea, which made with vodka, black tea, and lemon.
I haven't gotten it. Like, there's a new craze surrounding like spiked iced teas and
Yeah.
like alcoholic seltzers and stuff like that. I've never, like, I just don't. I
Had
don't
a
know.
little pop to it.
Yeah, it was nice. I just haven't been able to get into them. I don't
I
know
like
why.
the hard lemonades, like the Mike's hard lemonades, and I like what are the ciders? I like ciders.
Good woodchuck every now and then.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of regular iced tea, so I think it's funny that iced tea is like has caffeine and picks you up, and then beer is like, or alcohol is like I don't want to say a sedative,
depressant.
but a depressant.
Yeah.
So my body's
Meanwhile,
not going to know what to do. But you're drinking
I've
coffee
got
as
coffee
well.
in one
Yeah.
hand and whiskey in another.
This
You know?
is interesting. It's like weak iced tea, but with a hint of alcohol.
That reminds me of like those LaCroix. It's like
Yeah.
water that was left in the room with some strawberries. That's what they
Right.
call it,
Exactly. Where it's like, oh yeah, I can almost taste some strawberry in
Yeah.
here. Yeah. All right.
If I squint.
If I squint really hard, I can see the strawberries. So since we have 3 episodes to break down,
Boom.
I
think
say
should get right into it.
we talk about all the places they can find us, all of our friends, and then get right into it. So
yeah, the
where
social
can
needs, as we have
where
so
can-
lovingly called them.
yes, where can they find us on Instagram? And
You can find us on Instagram and on Facebook at BanthaMilk Podcast.
yes,
That is Facebook.com/BanthaMilk Podcast as well. You can also find our Facebook group, Sacred Jedi Texts. We're on Twitter as BanthaMilk.
BanthaMilk.
We have a website, BanthaMilkPodcast.com.
Yeah, where you can get swag. I saw the dad. We had back to school night.
Yes, their daughter, one of their daughters, is at your school.
Yes,
Right? Yep.
and the dad was standing in the hallway
Was he wearing the shirt?
wearing his BanthaMilk shirt, and I was like, "Nice shirt."
I think he just wears it whenever he might see one of us. That's
I think
nice.
so. I think he was definitely like walking around the hallways, hoping whoever your co-host would notice it.
And you did.
And I did. And then it was funny. One of my other teachers, he sent me a text. He goes, "Dude, your super fan is here." And I was like, "Yeah, I saw him. I talked to him. He was awesome."
That's rad.
So yeah,
Shout out to you, man.
So,
Thanks for wearing our swag. I still
thanks.
haven't. I keep forgetting to order one.
you do. Oh, on a side note, T Public took down our WEOK shirt.
What?
Yeah,
Why?
for what NCLDB whatever
A DCMA takedown?
DCMA takedown. Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Was
If
it
it
the
was
Ewok? Maybe
the
because maybe the image of an Ewok is copyrighted by Disney, and you don't mess with the mouse.
right or the emoji. It did the emoji Ewok, which is basically what it
Right.
was what was taken down. But I changed the color from it had like a brown headband on it. I changed it to purple, so completely redid the whole thing.
Oh yeah. Now it's
Um,
back up.
yeah. So I don't know. So no, it's not back up.
Ah, okay.
Um, so they took it down. So if you
Bummer.
didn't get that shirt yet, you're never gonna
Yeah,
get it.
that's a limited
That is
edition
limited
shirt.
edition.
If you've got a WEOK radio shirt,
Yep, you have one of the few WEOK radio shirts out there. But check out and get any of our other swagafic. I just made
Swavakific.
Swavic. I
You
can't even
can't
say
even say
that
it again.
twice. Nope.
Swavakific.
hmm
That's very nice. I like that.
Yeah,
Rob's
yeah.
a wordsmith. He
I'm a
creates
word.
words on the go.
I make up my own words as I go.
You know what you're like? You're like Chaucer.
I am. I just make up my own words. I'm just, you know what? This is what it's gonna be.
Oh boy. Are we gonna pretend like we have a commercial break here? Because like a lot of times we do it and it just doesn't happen.
So on the last episode, we actually did have a
That-
commercial. It was funny. I threw one in the middle of us talking about the Empire, and it was a commercial for J.C. Penney when I listened to it.
Love it.
And then we come out and we're like the evil empire, and it was almost like we were referencing the commercial as the evil empire. That was pretty funny about
I
that.
dig it.
I was thinking after we break down episode 1, then we'll go
do
to a
that,
commercial
and
break
we'll
in
go
between,
right into episode
right
one.
into episode. Yeah. So all those people, ears up in depth.
Yes.
Sacred Jedi
Scraping the
text,
vault.
scraping the vault.
Supreme
and
Resort.
Supreme Resort, and I think that's
Ears.
all of them. Ears,
You know,
ears with a Z.
Ears with a Z.
Ears with a Z. Yeah, so check them all out. All right. That being said, let's
said
break
that.
it down.
Let's break it down. Andor, season
Andor,
1.
Season 1,
Picture
episode
it.
1.
Sicily, 1924.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, man.
It feels like a war movie.
Yep.
It doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie, and also the fact that we're not going to see lightsabers.
Hopefully.
Supposedly,
I mean,
because
I think there's always the chance we see a Darth Vader every now because when you're dealing with the Empire, but it looks like at the very least we're starting small because like
yeah,
it's not stormtroopers we're fighting, it's
no,
local private security hires,
Yeah.
so companies or something. They're like under the purview of the Empire, I guess, but I guess their security company.
yeah. So it's
private
interesting what they're doing. So all the way back to the opening credits, that you see like the planet, the bottom of the planet with a little light on it, showing a little bit of a revolution beginning.
Mm.
A lot of symbolism there. I'm still trying to figure out why the O in Andor is the different. Like it's the same font, but it's reversed. ANDR are all the positive, and the O is a negative.
Well, maybe that represents that the shady things you have to do in order for that revolution to happen. It really looks all bright and happy and shiny, but it's all that dirty underwork that really gets it done.
Yeah,
I just pulled that out of
you
my
did. That's a good theory. I'll go with it.
I'll go
I'll
with it
definitely
too.
go with it. So
until someone tells me I am wrong, that
right,
is the truth.
that's why we're doing it.
Boom.
And then did you notice in the opening credits where they did all the droids, they had BMO
B2
B2 emo.
sounds like a really lame like white rapper.
Yes, that's me. B2
B2 emo. Like, bro.
No. Well, that's like I tell the kids my band name in high school was the asterisk symbol. That's like Prince.
Like
but,
Prince, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just the asterisk symbol, and they
Artist formerly known as.
yes, and they're not interested in that.
You
at
are the
all,
artist formerly. You are the teacher formerly known as asterisk.
as asterisk. That's right. So but yeah, they don't care about that either. So yeah, so he was in the opening when they flipped through all the different droids. They threw him in
They
there
added
as
him
well.
into
They
the
added
little-
him
yeah.
into it. So that they did that with BB-8, and then who was the last one?
I'm trying to think which like. So we had. They didn't have IG-11 in there, right?
Oh, maybe they did.
They did.
They did. I think.
That
I
might
think
have
that's
been
what they had
in the initial
in the
round.
initial Mandalorian. They might have had IG-11 in there.
Yeah, man.
So,
I'm
yeah.
because like the only other shows we have are Book of Boba Fett. There wasn't any like
Any specific droid
from Book of Boba
standout?
Fett.
Yeah. So I think it must have been IG-11 that they threw in there for that one. So yeah. So it's fun because they keep throwing in different droids
Yep.
that are
that are coming into
coming
play.
into play. And I liked how in the flashbacks when we see him uh when they're picking up young Cashin, how pristine the droid is.
Yes. Yeah, they
And
definitely
then
made it very clear that this droid is pretty
yeah,
young, and then this droid has aged
has aged
poorly.
poorly. Poor guy's been beaten up a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
because looks like he's been thrown down quite a few set of steps.
Yeah.
He has lots of scars
His
all
his
over him.
little like machining that makes him move is like all janky and like
Yeah,
won't it like keeps
it
jittering, and
keeps jittering
he's got a
and
speech impediment
uh
now.
huh.
I mean, we didn't hear him, I guess, talk in the flashbacks, so we don't know
No,
if he had it
if he
then.
had it back then, but he
But
definitely has it now.
I'll confess I was really confused during the flashback scenes because I was just taken out by the fact that there was no Bacta. And like
Okay,
I'm not used to
you're not
like
used to
going back in time without them telling me via back to text.
right
So
that
it
this
was
person is going into Bacta, so he's going
like,
to dream
why
now.
am I looking at this person? Is
Yeah,
this how can this be that person? We haven't had any injury yet.
we
So
haven't gone into the Bacta tank, so
yeah,
you're
so
really messing with my head here.
they're really messing with, I think, the continuity. Come on, Dave Filoni, get your head out of your butt.
I really like this director's and writer. It's the
Yeah.
same guy,
Oh man,
Tony.
the so almost universally the worst part about Star Wars is the writing.
Yes.
And the writing in this is so good.
Yeah, Tony Gilroy.
Okay.
That's his name, who's the
Interesting.
writer, and oh, Toby Hayes is the director, but Tony Gilroy is the writer, and very impressed.
All right. So it
Um,
looks. Oh yeah, that's right. I heard because Tony Gilroy was the screenwriter for the Bourne movies,
yes,
so that makes total sense.
yes,
And man, so we can talk about specifics as we go through, but I think what I loved most about these first three episodes was how like real they made the Star Wars universe and relatable they made the Star Wars universe.
yes,
Like that dude on the train, that whole
uh huh.
conversation, I was just like, this is so cool. This is just like this could happen
Right
on the
now,
train
yeah,
on this could be like take them away, put them on the subway in New York,
yep.
and this is still like this could
This could
happen in a
still
movie,
happen. You
So
have
like
some random person just start talking to you on a train in New York or Philly or wherever you
and
are.
just the way they were talking, like he was talking about like his job, and
Uh
he was
huh.
talking about like the bureaucracy of the empire, and how now it's causing like how like the regular person just on his way to work kind of has to deal with it.
Yeah.
I just thought it was so, and again, that dialogue was just great. I'm so
Yes.
excited about the dialogue because it's witty and it's quick.
All the dialogue. I verbatim wrote down some of the things that they said later on because some of the dialogue is so good, so
Yep.
fun. And it's funny, I was watching it. Trey came home for the weekend. Uh Sherry was very happy, and then also then tonight very sad because he
Because he had to
left.
go home,
Yeah,
or go back to
go
school.
back to
Yeah,
school. But we were watching it now. Some of it he was tired because it was late Friday night.
sure.
But he was just like not into it because it was so much character building and it was so much talking, and he's like, I just want to see lots and lots of lightsaber battles.
Yeah, and that's the balance you kind of strike, I guess, when you're trying to go for a more mature tone.
Yeah,
You're going to get the older Star Wars fans hooked pretty well because we're interested in the intrigue and that. But a lot of the younger, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't love the freaking lightsaber battles. I
right,
love them,
right.
but like, I there's a reason I like Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon stuff. Like, there's so much world building and so much politics and so much like
Yes,
personal intrigue. I don't know. It was just it was awesome. Again, dialogue is big for me, and there were some times, like especially in the flashback scenes. Obviously, there was no dialogue to kind of hinge
right.
on, but there wasn't a whole lot of. I feel like endless. Like, do we really need to see this? Like long shots of
Yeah,
like landscape and stuff like that. Someone walking for like 8 minutes on the screen or
on the
something.
screen. Yeah,
There was a lot of action. I feel like even in like episode 2, like we talked about a little bit, was a little more exposition and less action,
yeah,
but the exposition was good. It was great character building. We got introduced to Stellan Skarsgård's character, who may be my favorite Star Wars character,
okay,
like introduced in the last however many years. He's so cool.
yeah,
I want to know way more about him.
yes,
Like we got him in Rogue One, and he was just kind of this crotchety old dude who's in the rebellion. But it's pretty freaking clear that he's like something to be reckoned with. Like this dude has skills.
he has skills, he has
He's essentially
knowledge.
a spy master. And
Yes,
it's like like Money Penny in 007 almost. He's like recruiting
Hmm.
this like protege, and he's like, I don't know,
Yes.
just watching him fighting and like knowing the terrain and like every shot, like he knew what was going to happen when he like shot one chain and something fell.
Right.
It was just cool to
It
like
was very
see.
cool. It was almost not quite as intelligent as Thrawn,
Right.
but it was very
The
thought
same
out.
sort of tactical
Yeah, the
sort of
same sort of tactical,
thinking.
like overthinking the way
Yep.
Thrawn does as well. All right, so then we start. We see the Rebellion logo, Andor's logo. Then we see Cassian walking on a walkway going into the city. The walkway looked very familiar to some of the walkways that we see in Rebels.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the scene where like they're flying the road ships and they're like trying to escape on Ezra's main home planet. I forget the name of the planet that they're always on Rebels. But the roadway was very similar to that causeway that they were walking, and the lamps with the way they were angled
Lothal.
up. Lothal, yes.
I forgot like Loth cats.
Yes.
Loth wolves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lothal. Yep.
And like the lamps were very similar. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That looks a lot like the architecture in Lothal as well. Um, so we touched on a little bit. Right now in this time, instead of the Empire trying to rule everything on things that aren't as important to them that they feel they need to rule with an iron fist, like these mining planets that all they're doing is just trying to take all the minerals and ore
The
out of the
resources.
planet, the
Yeah.
resources out. They're letting these individual
Subcontractors. Yeah.
subcontractors and minor police force and stuff rule and govern these
Which
planets.
is cool because like our entire notion of the Empire has been that the grunts and the foot soldiers are the stormtroopers, but like the stormtroopers, I guess, are not. Like there's like a sub below them, like where that, like you said, the Empire deems it like not, I guess,
Not worthy,
necessary
not
enough
necessary.
to
Yeah.
like leave a garrison of stormtroopers, but will, shell out whatever money to hire local enforcement. And it's cool that they show that bureaucracy of it with the old guy who's like just kind of cashing his check,
Yeah. But
and
I don't think he's cashing his check as much as he
he knows how it
understands.
works.
He knows what to do. He's smart enough to know, because he even said it like, the less attention we draw to ourselves, the better off it is.
Right.
And that's that monologue that he has. I really enjoy that whole
Yeah.
monologue.
And that was maybe the first time in the first 3 episodes where I was just like hooked just by the words. I was
Yes.
like this dude, he not only is acting, but like again, just the way he delivered it, it was similar to that conversation on the train where it was just very real and frank, and like
Yes.
it could that you don't need to be on a Star Wars planet for that sort of drama to play out. You know what I
Right.
mean?
That could be right now
It
anywhere.
could be the
And
New York City Police Department. It could be on SVU. It could
yeah.
be like, I don't know. It's just
Yeah, like they don't want the FBI coming in and taking over. So
right.
it's like, look, we do this, we take care of it, hush hush, moving on, you
What's
know.
funny too is it wasn't, you're right, because it wasn't even that he was like sweeping anything under the rug. That's exactly what happened. He knew exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Two guys,
Mhm.
they messed with the wrong guy. They did something stupid and they got killed for it. You can look into it, but it's going to cause a big headache. So
Yeah.
don't do it.
Don't do it.
And dot 5 minutes later.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but we got to go backwards before we get to that to know why he was saying that. So we see Cashin walking down the hallway or an alleyway. It was like a prostitution like in Amsterdam, where there's women in the windows, like you want to, you know, prostitutes in the window for you to go, "Oh, I'll take
I'll tell
her."
you, yeah. And
You know?
it's in like all the Star Wars video games and stuff too. They had like the same thing they had where like a hollow table with like a holographic stripper. You
Okay.
know what I mean? Like, and they had that in this one. Like
They
if you
did
like,
when he was talking to the girl behind him was a holographic stripper
yeah,
back
just
there.
dancing.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm thinking like, why do people pay to come and see a kind of janky hologram?
Yeah.
Like, do they not have like the internet?
Right.
Maybe they don't.
On their data pads, they
Yeah.
couldn't just like
Yeah,
do
data
it.
pads everywhere. I'm saying.
Yeah, everybody has a data pad, but they can't just watch it. Maybe they don't have pornography on data pads. I don't
Maybe
know.
not. It was a long time ago in a
It,
galaxy far, far
it
away.
was, yeah. But it was funny when he's talking to the prostitute lady in there, the what escort, I guess,
The brothel keeper.
the brothel keeper.
It's almost like a Game of Thrones
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
vibe.
She was like, "Oh, they're just cops. They're just playing police." And it just made me think like nobody takes these cops
Hmm.
seriously. Like they take them as seriously as they have to
In order to like work with them and
in
not
order,
have
yeah,
get
in order to
harassed.
not get harassed. But those two guys were definitely angry at Cashin for whatever reason. As soon as he walked in, they were mad at him. And then they were extra mad because the brothel lady came over and talked to him first before
Right.
them. And then they're like, what? Now you're really pissing me off.
And then he mean mugged them. He just
Yes.
gave him the look, and they're like, "Ooh, that's a hard look for a
For
hard man," or something like
for a
that.
little guy like
Yeah.
yourself or whatever. Yeah. So
And
then
I got to say, it was a pretty darn good look.
it was a good
It was
look.
like if he looked at me like that, I'd probably be like, "All right, bro,
Yeah.
you're right.
You're right.
I'll
Yeah.
go that way. You
Yep.
do your thing."
Uh-huh. So then he leaves because he's trying to find his sister. And he's like, I like the conversation with
Is it
her.
actually his sister, or
I'm thinking it's because in the flashbacks,
you think it's that?
it's that little girl that
Yeah,
was like hugging him and stuff, and I'm assuming that's his sister.
right.
Um,
I didn't know if that was like a code or something.
yeah,
Maybe we'll find out it is. I don't
I don't think it
know. I
is
don't know. It's probably
because
that little girl. Yeah.
she was like getting annoyed with him. If it was a code, she would have played along, but she was like, "What is it? A wife, girlfriend?" And he's like, "No." And then she's like, "Seriously,
Looking for
like,
my sister.
yeah." She's like, "Okay, well, she's not here." And he goes, "It was weird. What was her name?" And then like maybe because when they were uh speaking their native tongue, I forget Kieran, whatever their native tongue is.
Oh, right.
Um,
Kurani, right?
yeah,
Come, that's gonna
they
hurt.
maybe his name is very similar as it was when he was a kid, but maybe she decided to change her name once she got off the planet or whatever. And I didn't like in the flashbacks when they were speaking
Kanari.
Kanari, when they were speaking Kanari, the subtitles it just said speaking
Yeah,
Kanari.
speaking Kanari.
And I'm like, I want to know what they say, but we're supposed to figure it out,
Yeah,
like
just by their
by
context
their
clues and
yeah, and
it reminds me of when people were complaining about West Side Story when they were speaking Spanish and they didn't actually fill you in on
they
what they
didn't
were
fill you
saying.
in on what they were
But
saying.
it, like
Yeah,
that I get. It's like it's Spanish.
it is. Yeah,
Like that's fine. But like
this
this is
isn't
a made up language. Maybe you could help us out.
help us out a little bit here. But the one scene you could tell he when he turned back at one point right before they were leaving in one of the episodes, it was almost like he was like, "I'll be home for dinner."
Yeah,
He's like, "Don't worry, I'll be home for
I
dinner.
got this.
I got this." So then the two guards chase him down and start harassing him
No
in
alleyway.
the alleyway.
And you knew where this was going.
Yeah,
That's the great thing about this whole series is that anytime Andor is in danger, we know he's not going to die.
right. Yeah,
it's just like
'cause there's 24 more episodes to go.
and a movie where we see him die.
Yes, yes.
So we know his end.
We know when he dies. It's
Yeah.
not going to be now.
Yep.
But
So,
it was fun. You could tell he had everything planned out and they didn't. And I think that's like the theme of even episode 3 when the S hits the fan for the police officers.
right.
It was like they thought they were just going to march in there and everybody was just going to bow down to them, and when it didn't go that way, they were like, "Now what do we do?" type of thing.
But that's what Cashin says later on is that they're so arrogant they wouldn't possibly think that someone like them
Right.
could possibly do anything
Do anything
to
against
harm
them.
them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. Where were we? What were we saying?
So this is the first fight. So
Yes.
he
Okay. The fight. Right.
he tells
So
the guy.
so my question, because you said he was playing like, I think it's pretty clear that Cashin like knows how to handle himself. But do you
Yes.
think he had that like plan? Like he had a clearly he like was like being still and figuring out his like calculating his exit and stuff. But
Right.
he sure seemed shaken by that. You know what I mean? It didn't seem
I
like
think he
he
seems
liked
shaken
killing.
because he definitely doesn't like killing. I think he just wanted to, because even when from the beginning, he tells them he has 300 credits in his pocket, and then the cop is like, "Oh, that's great because that's exactly
Right.
what you need." And I'm like, "Of course it is because you're corrupt."
Right.
Um,
They're
so
relying on the local cop drunk with power trope
right,
pretty thick.
pretty thick. So then the guy's reaching in his pocket, and he goes, "No, it's in the other pocket." And as soon as he turned his head, that's when he gave him the headbutt to knock him down
Yep.
and caught the other guard off guard. He quickly grabbed the gun. It was a neat throat punch, real dirty.
All the action has been
All the
great.
action, yeah, like a real fight. Like
Yeah.
this was like a real, you're being mugged, but you're like a second or third degree black belt, so you have like two moves that you can do. If you can get him down on the ground in two moves, then you're going to be able to handle
get
yourself
out,
and
yeah.
either get away, run away, or whatever the case is.
And
So
what was the case, Rob?
and then the case in this case
was not great.
was not great. So he knocked him down, and then was punched him in the throat. The guy was like, "Ugh," and then it was body slammed him into the ground, and then got the gun from him. And then you could tell, like at this point, he didn't want to do anything else.
Right.
He just wanted to get away. He just wanted leave me alone. I'll leave you alone. Everything is fine. Because he was like, now what? Now what do we do? Now what do we do? He's like, get him up. And then when the other guy was dead, which I was like, wow, that's one heck of a headbutt he gave
Yeah,
him.
right.
But when the other guy was dead, that's when it messed everything up. And even the cop was like, "Look, we'll go in together. I'll say that it wasn't intentional." Blah blah blah. And I can see Cashin A was like, "The heck with this! Like, I'm not going in admitting that I killed this guy after you
Yep.
guys jumped me. Like, I'm going to go to jail,
Yep.
or whatever they have in Star Wars land, the Star Wars jail."
Star Wars jail. That's
Star Wars
exactly
jail.
what it's called.
That's exactly what it's called. I'm gonna go to Star Wars jail, all because you guys were jerks and a-holes. I'm not gonna go in for that.
And you think this drunk idiot is actually gonna like stick to his story?
Yeah, once you get in there, he's gonna turn on you in a heartbeat. No,
Yep.
that's not what happened. This is what happened. So I don't want to say he had no other choice, but in true
But he
Star
saw
Wars,
no other choice.
yeah,
at the
in
very
true
least.
Star Wars fashion, like any true bounty hunter, kill
Andor
him.
shot first.
Andor shot first.
Yeah.
So then he had to kill him. So then it was like, all right, now he knows he's got to get out of town because somebody's going to be coming for him. And it was interesting that he was in a dark alley where nobody saw it. And then he gets back into his ship and then he takes off. And then the next scene is really funny because we're back on Farrak's system. We see the droid, the square red droid.
Yeah.
B2
emo.
B2 emo.
Yeah.
Just nobody else is around. Maybe it's like 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever it is. He just driving right down the middle of the street, and then these like giant Star Wars boar type animals with big fangs go running past him, and he shrinks up. He's like, "Oh no!"
Like an armadillo.
Like an armadillo. Yeah, totally like an armadillo. Closes up like I'm gonna get knocked over, and they run past, and then the one comes back and pees on him. He could have peed anywhere in the world, but he peed on him. And then he,
Poor guy.
in a true R2D2 chopper-esque move, he pulls out the zapper and he zaps him. He's like, "You're gonna pee on me? I'm gonna zap you."
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun.
I mean, Star Wars knows how to make hunks of metal seem like puppies.
Yes.
And you just root for them.
Yeah.
Like I don't that weird little metallic thing. I would die for you.
Yeah. Like I want one. I want him right
Right.
now. Like I loved R2. BB-8 I was okay with.
See, I liked BB-8. I loved the noises BB-8 made.
BB-8 made good noises. I liked Dio.
Yeah, from episode 9.
Yeah, like because he was fun also because he was like a little wounded puppy as well. Because you could tell he was beaten down and neglected and whatever.
And from the Jedi Fallen Order games, that's gonna annoy me. That little droid that you have in those games is like amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing also. So then this one emo, then the next couple of scenes, it's like they took shot for shot Wally, the beginning of Wally.
Yep.
And even like at this point, now that he's all busted up, the one part of him is yellow, and I swear it's almost the same exact yellow as Wally's yellow. Like they totally did a great homage to Wally because the scene when he's driving past all the chunks of metal, it's like Wally in the beginning driving past all the chunks of metal.
Yep.
Even when he comes into the ship, it's the same exact shot as when Wally's coming into his base and like dropping down the things that he collected and found that he really liked. It looked like shot for shot like Wally.
Maybe we'll get like another droid for him to have a crush on.
Yeah, a girl
That would be
droid.
nice.
Yeah. Eva.
Oh my God, I'm having an Eva. That's crazy.
There you go.
That's
See?
great.
So now you have to have Eva droids all over the
Oh
place.
boy. It's BD1, by the way, was the name of
Oh
the droid
yes,
from Fallen Order.
Fallen.
And there is that new, I think it's called Jedi Survivor. That's the new one coming out probably next year and probably only for next generation consoles, which is a shame because you can't get them.
Right. Yeah, you can't get them
It's like,
anywhere.
it's impossible to get. So anyway,
So Jason from Ears Up posted a Twitter that he walked into Costco where he lives out in California, and there was a whole bunch of PS5s there.
wow,
So he picked one up. Right after that, I went to our Costco and I was looking all over the place.
not a thing.
Not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many people in Jersey.
Too many people in
Wait,
Jersey.
isn't he in California?
He's in
Yeah, there's a
California.
lot of people in
There's a lot of
California.
people. Yeah. Like near San Francisco. So it's
he's
there's a lot of people there.
Although near San Francisco, they're probably getting priority shipping. They're
Probably.
getting all these boxes. They're not even making it this far east.
They don't make it.
They stop around Kansas.
The
That's it. We're done.
PS5s don't even make it that far. They're like,
Yep.
we're out.
Yep.
So then we have a flashback. Oh, so then so he tries to wake up Kasha, and then we have a flashback, another flashback. He wasn't in back to tank, but he was
Very
injured
confusing.
after his fight with the two dumb
All
guards.
right. So maybe it's not back to so much as injury.
Injury, yes. So it could be. So then this is our first flashback. And this reminded me a lot. Did you ever watch the TV show The 100 on the WB?
No.
So the premise of The 100 was that there was one spaceship left from people from Earth, and I think they were flying to another planet or something like that. But the spaceship was losing power and oxygen or something. I forget the whole deal, but they needed to save some people. So they got uh, the escape pod could hold 100 people. So they put all the kids in the escape pod and sent them down onto the planet where they could breathe and live and stuff
And
because
everyone else in the civilization died.
yeah, well, it's kind of like that way they alleviated 100 extra people from using up the oxygen on the spaceship.
I see.
And it also put them down there so that they could survive down there in case the spaceship did crash and burn. All the adults would have died, but then the kids could live and they would be there to repopulate. But it was very similar to that, and to me, because there was no like real adult supervision. The
Right.
oldest ones were like 18.
Yeah, it was like Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies. It was very Lord of the Flies. Very 100. So this reminded me of all of that. Lord of the Flies, the 100. But apparently there was like when the mine, when we walk past the mine where we see Cashin looks down into it, um, they were mining for some gas or something like that, and then the gas blew up. And if you see everybody is yellow, it's because of all the
Yeah.
gas poison. So for some reason, everybody over 18 was poisoned, but all the kids weren't.
Was the gas not coming? I thought they were like poisoning him with the darts, and that's what was making him turn yellow.
Oh, okay.
Because
So
I felt like the more darts they were shooting at him, the yellower
the
he was
yellower he was getting. Okay, so that's what they were doing to the new people. They were
Right.
using that same liquid,
Oh,
but I think
okay.
that's
So
what killed all the
I see.
adults.
So maybe they have a way to weaponize that.
Yes, yeah,
liquid.
but that's
Interesting.
what I think killed all the adults before
Right.
this. But they used that gas, that liquid on the darts, and that's the poison that they were putting into them. And you saw like all the kids were wearing clothes that were not well fitted to them. They were like all the adult clothes that they were then scrunching
Oh,
down
yeah,
and trying
yeah.
to make them fit. And then this is where you first meet his little sister, and you can tell that they have a closer relationship than
Not because they say so,
not because they
but
say
because
so.
of how they act.
Right, because you can tell by the extra hugging.
Yes.
And then we go back to the normal present timeline, and he's talking to Emo, and he's like pausing for data lag. That was pretty funny.
That was great. Apparently, lying takes more
Li-
energy than
Yes.
telling the truth.
Yeah, so that was
Like-
really fun. That it was like
He'll say, "I'll have to charge more tomorrow" or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was.
he was
really
like
funny.
I need you to keep to tell lie, and he goes, okay. He goes, I have adequate power reserves, and then he says, don't tell anybody where I was, and don't tell anybody that you know me or something like that. And he says that's 2 lies.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Again, it's kind of like how they've been doing Star Wars humor, but it's like just kind of peppered in there.
A little pepper,
just
yeah.
Little, and it's part of the writing. The writing is really good here, so it's like serious stuff, and then
And then
The
just a
droids,
little,
the droids are the best at it. I feel like because
yes,
the droids can be so dry with their delivery, and
right.
that makes it funny.
That makes it funny.
That
Yeah.
like yeah, and so like I got very um, what's the droid from Rogue One?
Oh, the girl.
No, that's
Oh,
Solo.
okay.
Rogue One is the big Imperial security
Oh,
droid
yes, the one that
that was voiced by what's his name?
I was that's what I was gonna say.
Alan
Yeah,
Tudyk.
Alan. Yes,
Alan Tudyk.
yeah. I know which one you're talking about, but I
Yeah,
forget his
but I
name.
got because like that dry sort of like um what was that line where it's like Cashin said I had to.
Yeah, yeah,
And then like the I almost like the IG-11 thing too, where he's like, I require it. I require an answer. When
yeah,
it like so like that same sort of sarcastic dry
yeah.
like
Or even the IG-11 when he's like, "All right, I can't win this battle. I'm going to self destruct," and he's
yep.
like, "No,
No,
don't
don't do
self destruct." He's
just
like,
this like iron logic
"Yeah, there's just like this
of
is what I have to
droids.
do," you know. So it's pretty funny. And then Cashin's walking back in town because now he tells the droid, lie for me, whatever. And I like all of the species in the background. And there was even like a really big dude who had like yellow armor on. And I feel like I saw him somewhere else. Like maybe
Hmm.
he was in Rogue One or somewhere else, but I feel like I saw him at another point in time because I was like, oh, I remember that. And then you see what the mundane life is for these people in this working city.
Yep.
Like their only purpose there is the whole city is built around this mining town.
Yep.
It's kind of like old mining towns of the
The West, right?
West,
Yeah.
or even like the 40s and 50s when they first started making giant manufacturing plants,
Right.
and then they would build a whole town just for that. Like even Hershey,
Yep.
um, like he built a whole town around making chocolate. Now he did it nicely. He
Right.
cared about his people.
But still.
He gave him a theme park and everything and
Yeah.
free chocolate, but still, these people don't care as much. It's like go dig a hole and leave me alone. So you can see how like mundane, and you're really seeing the day to day life of people this time,
Hmm.
the real people, not the
Not
people
the
on Coruscant or
yeah,
the
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 senators or
senators or
the
anything like
Jedi
that.
masters.
Yeah, you're seeing the day to day people right
Us.
now, us, the common
So
folk.
I love to tell like when people share on Facebook and stuff like, oh, I think if I were in Game of Thrones, I'd totally be a Targaryen. It's like no, you would be one of the commoners
You would be
that the
the
dragon
yeah,
eats,
eats. Yeah,
and you
you'd
would
be
have
the
no song sung about you.
y-
This is not.
you you'd be the one like with the sheep that the dragon comes and eats all your
Yep.
sheep, and you go, dude, that was
That's
my
it. What do I
income
do
for the
now?
year. Now I got nothing.
And you go like right to your congressman, and they send you like a letter in response. That's like a form letter. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your. We're gonna get right to you. Yeah,
Yeah, and then they never do. Yeah.
I'm not
Uh,
jaded about politics or
no, not at all.
anything.
Not at all. But it was fun with Cashin talking to his buddy about his alibi. That was another fun
Yes.
monologue
Yep.
when he was
Yeah,
like,
those two were those that like exchange. I don't even like clearly they were setting those two up as having a close relationship. They
yes,
haven't really explored that deeply yet.
no,
But yeah, it was cool to see like they're setting these two are they trust each other, they're friends.
they're friends. Yeah. So that was fun. And then I think it's Brazzers, I think his name is, or something like that. He says, "Okay, I'll come." He said, "Come, but who's going to be asking?" He's like, "Okay, well, who's going to be asking this?" And then he continues with the story. We drank ourselves to sleep. You insulted my choice of beverage, as a host, I was very annoyed. You stood up. I knocked you off of your chair. That's where you got that bruise.
Yep.
You were gone in the morning, and then you came now to apologize to me. I accept your apology. Like
Yep.
it was just so much fun how he just like, and then Cashin was like, okay, cool. You're playing along with this also. I like it. That's
but
fine.
but it's also pretty clear that that's not the first time they've done it. You know what I
No,
mean?
no,
Like
yes,
they're laying the groundwork for how good that Cashin is at lying. Essentially, you
yes,
know, like
yeah,
he does this a lot. He can set a story and cover his tracks, and he's good at selling it. And he's been doing it for a long time. And so we see later on that they've been looking for him. There's a
yes,
reason why.
yes. So that was a lot of fun. And then at first I thought he was pulling a mom joke, but he wasn't. And when he gets on to the little transport that was taking him to go to work, He was like, and when I was at your mom's house last night, it was freezing. Tell her she can afford to turn the heat up.
Yeah.
And at first I thought it was like a mom joke, and it was
Like,
fun.
I was at your
I
mom's
was at your
last
mom's
night.
house last night, but it was actually truth because he was
At
actually
his mom's
there,
house,
asking where he was. So it was a double entendre, I
Yeah.
guess maybe.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. And then and then we go to Morelli, uh, the corporate security headquarters, which now those buildings, very nice. Oh, the town that they're in, reminded me a lot of Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the architecture, even though Galaxy's Edge uh, ground was concrete, but it was like a textured concrete to
Right.
look like it would have been dirt, and there was even like droid tracks
Huh.
in the concrete all over the place
That's
and
pretty
stuff.
cool.
So they made it look like this, and this was the same thing, but just a lot with more dirt.
Right.
Um, but I know this wasn't Galaxy's Edge. I know this isn't Batu,
Right.
but it was definitely very similar to Batu in their architecture and design. So that was pretty cool. And then we get to the corporate headquarters. Much nicer. Everything is much cleaner. And this is where the captain of the police force is talking to that uptight little fellow there. And he says, I like how he asked him, "Did you alter your uniform?" He's like, "Yeah, I added some pockets and piping."
Yep.
Like you can tell he wants to be an officer in the Empire.
Yep.
Like
He has bigger aspirations.
yeah, and it's funny. I don't know. He must have went to university or college or whatever because he definitely didn't work his way up in the ranks.
Right.
Because you can tell later on that he is not a fighter.
No.
He just came in as a lieutenant. He has no idea how to actually do any real hand to hand combat. Just send people out to do it.
And he's not, and we see later on, you know, he has the ideas of, like, I guess, a leader, but he's not charismatic,
No.
right? Like that scene where he tries to like rouse the troops after the Irish dude or whatever he is, who's awesome. I love
Yeah,
that other
he was
actor.
he was good.
And
Yeah,
he's just like, stirring speech, sir.
he's like, great job.
Yeah.
He's like, everybody was he's like, some of us may not live, but we'll all try and
Take my stapler,
take my stapler. You took my
burn the
the, the
place on fire.
the cake to people ratio. There's not enough cake for every person, and I didn't get any cake last time. Um, so so that was pretty funny, but uh the younger guy, he wants to find out who did this. The captain stops and he closes the door, and that's when I love, like, all of the tech that they have is very 1977 tech.
Yeah, they have decided that, like, it doesn't make sense for technology to somehow, like, all of a sudden zoom forward, and like, just because we have the budget.
Right.
So like, whatever like was the technology in the 70s that they showed, it has to be the same.
It has to be the same
They
now.
have made like some minor improvements to some of them, like clearly like some of the screens are a little better, and
Right.
like
Yeah.
some of it looks a little less cheesy than like the 1970s cheapo kind of look, but it's still they're going for that aesthetic.
They're going for that total aesthetic, and the old big flip metal toggle switches and stuff where they could have easily done touchpads and all this other stuff, but they kept it really like legit square TV screens instead of wide screens or anything like that. But then he says,
So it's Kyle Suller is the guy who plays Cyril Karn.
okay,
That's the little Melvin we're talking
that's the
about.
Melvin that we're talking about. Yeah.
Heretofore to be known as Melvin.
Melvin.
We will
That's
call
it.
him
We're going to
Melvin
call
here.
him Melvin for the rest of the show.
I
hope he's in it for the next-
Inspector Melvin.
Deputy Inspector Melvin.
Yeah.
Yes. So Deputy Inspector really wants to make a statement out of this, and the captain doesn't want to. He says, the captain says, stops, he closes the door. He says, the case appears to be to describe his regret and regrettable misadventures to dedicated Primor employees caught on stand. Okay. And the other guy says, I want you to conjure a suitable accident, and let's make sure it's on the far side of the plaza. Let's get it outside of the leisure zone. They were killed in a fight. They were in a brothel, which they were not supposed to have. They're not supposed to have these brothels as a planet,
Right.
and they do. So he knows right away if they were in there that he's going to get in trouble for that. They were and expensive ones that they shouldn't be able to afford.
Right.
Drinking red nog, which they're not supposed to allow. both of them supposedly on the job, which is a dismissible offense, and they clearly harassed a human with dark features and chose the wrong person to annoy. I suspect they died rushing to aid someone in distress. Nothing too heroic. We don't need a parade. They died being helpful. Something sad but inspiring in a mundane sort of way. Uh, and I loved how he knew. He knew if we make a big deal about this, if we go and try and find this guy with dark features and put all this money and resources into it, then the empire's going to come down and we're going to have to answer for why we have all of these other things going on that we're not supposed to have.
Yep.
It's
It's
just
like any workplace where you have these perks
Mhm.
and you're like, just don't make a big fuss about them because then they're going to realize we have these perks and
right
take them away.
and take them away. You're not supposed to have a refrigerator in your room. So
Well,
when
shut up about it.
yeah, don't tell me about it, and I won't know it's there.
Just let me know when I need to cover it with something.
Yeah, like it's. But then Melvin decides, even though the captain said, don't go after this, leave it alone. He says, nope,
I got bigger fish to fry.
I got bigger fish to fry. These are two of our employees. They need to be avenged. Yeah, great word.
He feels very disrespected by it all.
Yes.
Like how can they like possibly not pursue this to the fullest extent? Two company men.
He is
on
very
the job
very black
by
and
the
white.
books.
The rules. This is the rules.
He's a jabroni.
They attacked they attacked our person. We must go after them. We have to get this bad guy.
Jabroni is a word that I think needs to come back. into the
Jabroni.
lexicon.
I love jabroni.
It's a great word. And like if someone were to call me a jabroni in earnest, I'd be like, man, that ain't right.
That ain't right. Don't call me a jabroni.
I don't feel good about that.
So then after that scene ends, you see that he's angry and he's definitely not going to listen to his captain.
No.
Then we get into the next scene where Cashin is now walking into the junk dealership and the store says it sells parts. And he asks the guy at front, where's Bix? And he says she's out back, and he goes and he lifts up what she's working on. She's working on some sort of a jet engine. She's taking pieces off of it. And he asks her if she can get her friend who buys secrets. And she has on she looks at what happened to his face. He said, I fell. She said, on what? A jealous husband? That was another funny line.
Yep.
They had a lot of good one-liners in
Yep.
it.
A lot of fairly mature themes. Again, like
Yes.
that's part of why I like this. This is very clearly not one of those young adult
No.
sort of things. Like the books, one of my biggest complaints is some of them are just aimed towards people younger than us, which I get. It's Star
Right. Well,
Wars.
you also bought those books in the children's section.
That was my bad.
That when they have a lot of pictures, they're designed more for kids.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is. Yeah.
But they're really pretty to look at.
They are really pretty, and there's a lot of really cool pictures.
And some of them you can feel like Chewbacca's fur.
Yeah, there's a fur.
And then like, you know, you
and
can
BB-8, it's like a little like
beep, boop,
dots
beep,
on it.
man,
Yeah, it makes a
and
little
lights
noise.
up.
Yeah, it makes some noise and lights
Man,
up.
you don't get that in paper books.
No, you don't.
And
No.
like they're cardboard too. Like
Yeah, they're really
sturdy.
thick and sturdy, so you can take them with you
I'm
everywhere
just
you
saying,
go.
man.
You can throw them on your high chair and stuff. You don't have to worry about
Listen,
it.
if War and Peace were made out of cardboard and had colorful illustrations and things I could touch,
You
maybe I'd watch
read it. Maybe you read it. Yeah, there you
Watch
go.
it, I say.
Watch it. You're gonna watch a book.
Anyway.
So then he says he has an untraceable S9 Star Path unit with crystal still intact. And she's like, how long have you had it? And she knows that this is a big item, and he knows now, like he's been holding on to it until now he's in so much trouble that he needs to unload it, get the money that he needs, and get off. We've even seen him running into different people who are like, yo, where's my money? And he's like, it's still in play, blah, blah, blah.
Very
But
solo like.
yes. Yeah, he is very solo like in that aspect. So she's like, well, just sell it to me and I'll sell it to him. And he's like, no, I'm not selling it to you. I need to talk directly to him. So then she's like, well, we'll see what happens. And then the other worker comes in, and you can tell he's very suspicious as to what's going on. And we find out because she's dating him, and he doesn't like this
Right.
this nice looking sweet talking dude to come in and keep hitting on his girl all the time. So he's a
Sure.
little jealous. He's got a little.
He's totes jelly.
He's totes jelly. That's the whole jealous boyfriend trope.
Sure hope nothing bad happens to him.
I sure hope he doesn't misunderstand a scene later on where he thinks that they're together when she's with him and whatever.
Wouldn't it be a shame if that led to his untimely demise
His
by being
untimely
shot in the
demise. I
chest?
know it'd be shot because he's trying to, follow her and chase her down and whatever. I
Man,
hope
what a
that
bummer
doesn't
that
happen.
would be.
That would be bad.
Next
Uh,
time on Bantham. Anyway,
so he knows the catching, blah blah blah, whatever. So, so then we go back again, and now the
and
kids are
now
all
we're
putting
back in
on
the wilderness.
back in the wilderness. The kids are putting on their war paint,
Yeah, and
and
he gets the little thing on his chin, which he's very excited about. But they didn't want him to have the thing on his
they
chin, right?
the one boy didn't want him
What
to
was that
have
all
it.
about?
Yeah, the one boy's like, "You're too
And
young,"
then the older girl
and
was
the
like,
other
"Yeah,
girl's
dude,
like, "No, he's ready.
he's my boy.
He's
He's got
ready."
this."
And it was funny. Pretty bad editing here. He put it on his chin twice.
Oh,
He
yeah,
did
we
it
saw him
once,
do it in the next shot.
and
It
then
was
she looks at him. She smiles, and then he does it again when he's smiling at her. And I was like, "Wait!" And it was only like when I watched it the first time, I'm like, "Didn't he do that?" But then I watched it a second time, and I'm like, "Yes, he did do that."
oh, so he wasn't putting more on. It was
No, yeah,
legitimately
the
like
second time when you're looking straight at it's the first time again.
okay.
So it was pretty
They just
funny.
included two angles of it.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So then they go.
They don't think that the people like us are going to sit there 4 times going, "Ooh, I
Oh,
see that. I'm
I found something wrong.
writing it down."
Um,
It's the internet age, friends. You should always expect that.
yes, exactly. Then we go back, and then Melvin is standing in front of a door, and he's like nervous about going in, and he's like, "I can do this. I can do this. Should I do this or should I not do this?"
I think I can.
I think I can. And this is when he's like, "Okay, should I listen to what my captain said or should I, because I know this is the best thing. These people need their vengeance." And so then he finally goes in, and even like as he's standing there waiting, two of the grunts or the regular police officers, whatever, they walk by and they're like, "Hey, Captain, what's happening?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm fine," and they're totally like making fun of him. But then he finally goes in. They're looking at the star charts, and they find this ship that he was looking for to try and figure out who this person was, where this ship came from, how this guy got in and got out, or whatever. And then he discovers that the ship got past their security, when unmarked ship, and nobody knew how or why he got in there. Um, so then that's the end of that scene. He's like, "Oh," and he's like, "Keep working on it." And the guy's like, "That could take all night." And he's like,
Yep.
"Yeah, well, I'll find someone else if you don't want to do it." The guy's like, "Dude, you're killing me here. This is not going to be fine."
He's not exactly endearing himself to his new subordinates.
No, not at all. Nobody. I don't think anybody respects him, and anybody appreciates how hard he's working to avenge these two guys. So Cash, then we see him. He's like, and one of his friends is like, "I need my money," and then his friend Vex stands behind him. Big dude threatens to Vex. He's standing there. He's like, "What are you?"
Yeah, that was great. He said, "I just have to stand here."
Yeah, he's like, "You told me to just stand here." He's like, "Dude, come on." And he's like, "Look," he's like, I got the money. Don't worry about it. You'll get it soon." And then we see Beck. She's back in the shop. She tells her boyfriend she'll be right back. She's running some errands. And then when she's running the errands, she goes off and meets up with him, or she goes into the back in the junkyard, and then she calls her buyer, and she's like hidden in this little like Morse code type of thing.
Yeah.
And then she's like calling her buyer to tell him that she has something special, and that's pretty much the way the scene ends. That's the way the episode 1 ends. It's like, oh, here we go, this is it. So on that note, let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back with a rundown of season episode 2 and 3.
Let's do that. Hey, go buy this product.
Go buy this product.
By now, you've bought this product.
I'm glad you did. Thank you very much.
Thanks for buying that product.
You buying it helps support our show.
If you could buy 2 or 3 of that product,
that would be even better.
that would
Or
be
better
so
yet, just
good.
listen to the commercial 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, just rewind a bunch, or you know what you could do is get to the end of this podcast and then rewind.
And then rewind. And then
Rewind. That's not a thing anymore. Is it?
yeah. You got to flip the cassette over
Oh,
and then
it's
play
the B side.
play the B side. That'll take you back to the A
That's
side.
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do that. Be kind, rewind.
Oh,
That would
man.
be if you
What's
were.
funny is I literally said that like in school the other day, and I realized none of these kids know anything about what that means.
So Sherry bought me a shirt, It's the Blockbuster logo,
Okay.
and instead of having Blockbuster in the middle of it, it says "Be
Be
Kind,
Kind,
Rewind."
Rewind.
I was wearing it on the boardwalk. We were waiting in line to get Johnson's popcorn because if you're going to Ocean City, it's
You
the
gotta get
best thing you
Johnson's
have to get.
popcorn, sure.
And a dad says to me, he goes, "Thank you." And I go, "For what?" He goes, "My son just asked me what your shirt means."
That's funny.
And he's like, I had to explain to him, about
The concept of
the concept
rewinding a
of
tape
rewinding VHS tapes.
when you return them
Yeah, when
to
you
the
return
rental
them,
store that
yes,
you had to go to
that you
pick
had to
up.
go to. There's one left. At least there was one left in Oregon.
Oh
There
yeah,
was
that's
still
right.
one Blockbuster left, and it was like independently owned, but they still
Yeah.
had to lease the name
Yep.
from the Blockbuster Corporation. Is still
Which
out there somewhere.
exists somehow.
It exists somehow. So it's pretty funny. And true story, real fast Blockbuster fact. They almost bought Netflix.
Really?
Yeah, and then
Oh, I remember that. And they said no.
they said no. Netflix wanted to sell it to them for I forget how much it was. $100 million, 20 million, 50 million. I don't remember what it was. It was a lot of money. But they said, no, we're fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Silly Blockbuster.
Silly Blockbuster.
What's funny about that too is like you want to mess with your kids and make them think you're crazy. Tell them, hey, I remember when Netflix sent DVDs in the mail to my
in the mail,
house.
yes.
Okay, Dad.
I figured out
believe you.
I figured out how to work the system where you could get the new ones. Well, that was weird.
My phone talks to
Your
me.
phone talks to you. I figured out how to work the system when you could get the new ones right away. Like you held on to the old one until Wednesday, and then you would turn it back in on Wednesday because the new ones would come out on Thursday.
Ah,
You would bump the new one to the top of your queue, and then boom, you would get the new one instead of the 17 old ones that you have on your queue. Because you're like, you know what? I really want to see Can't Buy Me Love one more time. But I'd rather wait and get this new movie instead. This new movie, Jurassic Park. I want to watch this instead.
I never got hip to Netflix when it was DVDs.
Okay.
When it went streaming, I got into it, but like, I it was just too much effort to like have something mailed to me in college.
Right.
Like
yeah.
I was just like, I gotta go to the freaking student center and
Yeah.
open my mailbox
And open your
Nah.
mailbox and yeah. And you needed a DVD player and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Well,
so.
I had a GameCube, so that didn't
Oh,
play
so that worked.
DVDs.
Yes.
No, it had those little discs.
Okay.
PlayStation 3 had a DVD player, but GameCube had the little baby discs, so you can play DVDs.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
That
so-
works. There you go. And this history moment has been brought to you by Nick and Rob.
Oh man. Anyway, we're back to talk
Anyway,
about episode 2.
Episode 2.
and
Now,
3. I don't know how we got talking about Blockbuster, but here we go.
I don't know. I went really deep into episode 1. Episode 2, I'll run through it a little faster. They're back at the
Well,
100.
If you want to get home before we have work in the morning, we
I
should
know,
probably
right?
shoot.
So episode 2, they're back with the 100 kids. The kids are now getting ready to take to go and go to the ship that they saw crash. Or they're seeing the ship crash. Maybe you see some old technology from the mining core when they're on the planet. You can see that they used a lot of technology on this planet, but these kids don't have any of that now. Kasha looks down into the pit and wonders. I wonder if he remembers his parents and is sad about that because he does give like a sad look when he looks down into the pit.
Right.
And then the next thing, the bell ringer. The bell ringer was really cool. He had a whole thing where he was like very formal about ringing the bell, to letting people know when time was up and everything like that.
A lot of clanging going on in this series so far. Later on in episode 3, it becomes very interesting.
It becomes very interesting, yeah. So then Cashin's walking through the crowd after his fight with his 2 guards, his friends, closing up the shipyard. And in the shipyard, in the distance, you can see a ship that looks very similar to the Ghost.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Whether it's the Ghost or not, it's the same time frame.
Sure,
If 5 BBY, that's when.
But they're also probably that manufacturer probably made a couple different.
Couple of them, which is what I was like laughed at because or not laughed at, but as a kid, you knew the Millennium Falcon, but then as we get older and as we dig deeper into this, you know that it's a YT 2000, something like that, whatever. Freighter, and that there were more than just one Millennium Falcon when they built them.
We never see a single.
We never see a second one ever. We never ever see another one. So then we see the guys holding the 2 Warthogs.
1300 FP light freighter.
There we go. And the F. There were other ones, YT 1300 A, B, C, D. So
it's about which yard they were built in, right?
Okay, yeah, and I think they had little different variations. I mean, it's kind of like when you get the the 64 Impala versus the 97 Impala.
Or the the XRL versus the TRL, the
Yes.
Acura, or the
Yes, the Acura, that all the cars look exactly the same. They just have different leather
leathers.
packages
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
inside. Like
yeah. The XRL has like red leather.
red
Or like,
leather. Yeah, it's like, ooh, and the engine is slightly tuned a little bit different.
my dad had an Acura RSX, and I loved it. It was stick shift. It was beautiful. I wanted it, and he sold it.
And then he sold it. That's a
I
nice
wanted
car
that car.
too.
It
Yeah.
was, man. It was
Yeah.
so nice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, so the Cashin runs into some guys that he owes money to, closing up shop. Then he's back at his mom's house. The droid is there now, more beat up than we saw him in the first time when she first picks him up in episode 1. You can see how really beat up he is. There's a lot of old technology. I like the new droid. I think he's fun. We talked about that earlier. Um, Oh, then this is when they're finding out that the thing's going over the news wire that they're looking for a
Canary man,
Canarian man with brown eyes and whatever.
and they're all going like, "Who did we tell?
Yeah,
Who
and she's like, "Well,
knows?"
everybody I told's dead." He's like, "Come on."
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's not fair." And then he's like, "Well, maybe." She's like, "Which one of the girls that you were with did you tell?"
Yeah, she's got some sass for
She does.
Cashin.
Yeah. So
Apparently, Cashin is a player.
yeah, and so here's what I'm thinking. Like, mom, I think mom
Mom-ish.
knows, momish. She knows the guy that Cashin goes off with, the guy you really like. What's his name?
Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah,
Man, what's his name? It's gonna
Skarsgård.
annoy me. I forget. I need to know his character's name though.
Yeah, so she knows. I feel like she knows him from the past. Maybe I'm just like looking too into it, but I feel like she must. I think she knows something, and she has something to do with this rebellion that she's not letting on to. I have a feeling that's going to happen. That we're going to find out that she knows more about this upcoming rebellion than she's telling us.
Luthen Rawl.
Luthen Rawl, yes. So I have a feeling we're going to find out that she's a little bit more involved than what we know right now. Right now, she just knows that Cash is getting himself into trouble. So then the jealous boyfriend sees the message, and he knows because Bex had told him one time that he's from wherever instead of what they said that he was from. So then now he's like, what should I do? And of course, the best thing you do when you're a boyfriend and your girlfriend has eyes for somebody else is
to squeal on him.
Squeal on him and get him put in jail, and then you don't have to worry about him anymore.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
think
easiest way out.
my girlfriend will really like me after that.
Yes.
After I do that to her friend.
After you rat out her other friend, she'll love you even more then.
Nothing we'll have to talk about in therapy.
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all. Once she finds out, she'll be okay with it, So yeah,
I'm
so
just
that's
now realizing, sorry, I'm just now realizing, by the way, that your Boba Fett that is coming through the wall,
okay.
the helmet, has a little crack spot for the antenna. And so the antenna was up when
when it came through the wall.
It's very interesting.
That is very interesting.
Sorry, I was distracted.
Okay.
Go on.
You got a little distracted. So then he goes over to the phone booths, which were fun because there's just like public phone booths, which we
Another
don't have
thing
even
kids
here
would not
now because
understand.
they don't understand why is he going
Apparently
over
they
there.
don't have cell phones.
No,
the galaxy far away.
the data pads that they have can't call anybody. They have
Their
to go to
iPads.
their
or
iPads.
iPods.
Yes, they're just
iPhones.
they just play music. They
Yep.
don't display holographs. They don't whatever. So then
and
other
they're not even on 5G. You have to be on Wi-Fi.
You have to be on Wi-Fi. Yeah.
It's a bummer.
So then the other alien's there, and he looks over like, dude, I'm on a call. So then he like changes and turns his body so that you can't hear what he's saying. Then we're back in the police officer's main reception room, and it's he's like, I like the guy's he's eating a blue ramen. That was fun.
I literally said, is he eating blue ramen?
Yeah, he was eating blue ramen. It was awesome. And then so the guy
just take any food and make it blue, and suddenly you're in Star Wars.
And suddenly you're in Star Wars. Just dye it blue. So then they find out this guy called in the tip and about Cashin. And then as they're talking about it and they're bringing up the holograph of Cashin, then the girl from the brothel is there. So I'm guessing Melvin pulled her in because I don't think she would go rat him out because she's got better things to worry about. She doesn't like the police. So she's like, whatever. and then the back of the police officer's main desk, sergeant is one of the calls and tries to find this. Oh, then the new cop comes in. The new cop is fun. I like the new cop.
Uh,
The
so that is Linus Mosk.
Linus Mosk. He's a fun guy.
Yeah, a human male who served alongside Deputy Inspector Melvin as
Yes.
part of the Preox Moriano's pre-Moore enforcement.
And so he's like hardcore. Like he's been a soldier.
Yeah,
He knows.
he's very fed up with bureaucracy
Mhm.
and with inaction, and he's like sees this little twig of a Melvin of a like this kid came in here and he's all of a sudden higher rank than I am, but you know I think I can make him like we have similar ways of thinking. I
Yes.
can use this kid's pride to get what I need done.
Yes. So he's like, let's go. And then he even is like, he's like, aren't you going to come with us? And he's like, you want me to come with? He goes, yeah, it'll be great for morale to have you come with. Which is then when he gives the speech as well, which is really funny. So he picks up Cashin picks up the piece from the hidden ship. And it's the same ship that he has everything hidden in that the mom picked him up on when he was little.
Right.
You can see obviously it doesn't work anymore. It's all busted out. The seats are all removed. It's all falling apart. But whatever.
Sitting in a junkyard that he had to sneak into.
That he had to sneak, yeah.
And then the guy comes up with his junkyard dogs.
But I think that ship that he was in is not. That's not his mom's ship.
Okay, that's a different one.
That's a ship that his friend with the junkyard dogs.
Right.
He's like, look, nobody will be around tonight. You can come and get this one, whatever. So he's taking that, and then you see him. He's like fixing the boards,
right,
so that nobody knows that ship was the ship that was there and whatever. Then we fall back to flashback, and the kids are all near the crash site, and then the one person that looked dead as the leader walks past. He stands up and shoots their leader. So they're like, no. So then they all shoot him with the darts.
Yeah.
And then they kill him, and then he gets all messed up, and then he's yellow from the darts.
They call him Mellow Yellow.
Mellow Yellow.
Remember that song?
I do. They call me Mellow Yellow.
It's nice, Mr.
Thanks, no problem. Then our leader guy, our friend guy, the Linus, we see his ship coming in. And he's talking to his ship, and his ship talks back and is very, very hospitable to him.
Wait. Are we talking Linus Mosk or Luthen Raoul?
Luthen Raoul.
Yeah.
Luthen Raoul. Luthen Raoul is asking where's the safest place to park his ship, and the ship is like 2.3 kilometers away. He's like, I have to walk that far, and I like how he's got a walking stick that kind of looks like a lightsaber.
A little bit
like a lightsaber, but it's metal instead of the light. Then he's riding on the bus that we were talking about earlier, and then random dude is like
British old man.
He started. Everybody's British.
Yep,
everybody's British. And did they film it in England because was it easier to get all British people?
So like canonically, the British accent is like the inner rim accent. It's like hoity-toity.
Okay,
like the higher class citizens usually have that British or like North Atlantic accent. So like someone from Coruscant, that's a very typical like Coruscant accent.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like either they are from like an inner rim sort of upper class type of thing, or else they're like kind of trying to be. I don't know, but I don't feel like the like less fortunate citizens of the like series, they don't tend to have the British accent.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Really interesting.
Yeah. So it was very interesting that so many.
But then you get like Mon Mothma.
Right.
Like Mon Mothma has that British accent.
Yeah. Even like the friend, like Bricks, the guy.
Oh yeah, he does.
He even has an accent as well. Like everybody has like a Scottish English accent here.
Yeah, we're getting. Yeah, that's true. Huh.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. So I don't know. We'll have to find out why. So then she says, so then the bus, and then the boyfriend's mad. So then we're back to Beck and her boyfriend. She's still in bed. Oh yeah. So after she says she's going out to the boyfriend, she says, we'll get together tomorrow. She meets up with Cashin and tells him, like this is gonna happen, whatever. Then he like makes her mad. Oh, he makes her mad. The boyfriend sees Cashin like touch her arm, because he's at the bar, he's watching
Cross
them.
the line, bro.
Yeah, and then he has his drink and he leaves. He's mad because he sees that they have a thing going on. And of course, he leaves too early, doesn't see her actually pull her arm away, and is like, no. Um, so then he's mad, but then she stops by his place afterwards. And she's like, I want to come in. And he's like, fine. So then they have a sex scene in the only way that Star Wars can have a sex scene, where she gets into the bed, she takes off her jacket, and then it's a cut scene
That's it.
to the police officers.
Fill in the blanks.
You fill in the blanks. And then the next thing we see is she's still laying in bed, and he's up, and she tells him, she asked for a calf, which is Star Wars for
Star
like
Wars
coffee.
coffee.
Yeah. Which they have in the books all the time, but I don't think they've ever said it in any of the movies before. And then he still doesn't trust her at all. He keeps asking her what's going on and to come clean with him, but she won't.
So I just went to the calf page on Wikipedia,
Okay.
and it says calf, also known as coffee, is a brewed beverage prepared from ground calf beans.
From calf beans.
Okay.
There we go. Very, very. It's almost like the description on IMDb.
Yeah.
Andor gets himself into trouble.
Well, okay.
Okay. So then the droid asks. Oh, then the cops come in to his mom's house, and the droid asks, "Why do we need cops? Because of the demise, and the police officers were able to find all that."
I just want to put in here, calf first canonically appeared in the 2014 novel A New Dawn, written by John Jackson Miller.
There we go. John Jackson Miller, our man.
Yeah.
He came in and came on our show with us. It was
Sure
fun.
did.
So the droid's got a lot of emotions because he doesn't want to talk to the police officers and stuff. The Marva is looking for B. She walks into the back room, which is Cash's room, and there's a baby Bantha on the table, and it reminds me of a lot of the Star Wars episode when baby Chewbacca's son, I forget what his not Chewie, Lumpy. Lumpy was playing with the baby Bantha. And then she's looking at the blow dart gun that Cash had as a kid. The leader pokes at one, and then they go back to the past tense because now she's looking at the thing, and now the leader's poking at one of the guys, and he falls all the way out of the ship.
Yep.
And then, but then I don't think they darted him, but he was yellow also.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
yeah, I don't know. I got to you've watched it way more than I have.
Yeah. So then all the kids are surrounding him, but they all have the high ground. They're on the high ground.
Well, I mean, I think it was pretty clear who was going to win that fight.
That's right. And then Cashin goes inside the spaceship, and he's the only one that goes inside for some reason. I don't know why he was the only one.
Upset.
He gets very upset. He goes in. Maybe he like snuck in the back door and nobody else knew why.
Maybe.
But that's when like episode 3 starts, where he's like sneaking in, and
he goes all Kylo Ren.
He goes all Kylo Ren on the equipment. He starts busting it up. Now I don't have notes for this one, so you're gonna have to help me with this one because I've only watched it like 3 or 4 times. So he busts in, he's mad, and that's when we meet his mom as a younger mom. She's there. And then
who is that actress? I've seen her in stuff before.
She's been in a lot of stuff. Yes, she's really good.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
All right, I'm gonna try and find it also. Marva, her name is on the show.
Oh, it's Fiona Shaw.
There we go.
Oh, you know what? She was in Harry Potter. She was Aunt Petunia. That's right.
Yes,
oh,
she was.
Man.
Yep,
that's
she was in Harry
exactly
Potter.
how I know her. That's crazy. All right, cool.
And then we also see Clem Andor. He's played by Gary Beadle, who becomes his dad. And I thought that was going to be a young Forrest Whitaker. What was his character?
Saw
Gerrera, because they have the gas masks,
right?
Because of the planet that they're on. So at first I thought that was a young Saw Gerrera, but it wasn't Forrest Whitaker, and it is not a young Saw Gerrera. He's Andor's dad, Clem Andor. So completely different character altogether. But so then it's a flashback of them, and then they take him away from the planet, and then obviously he's not going to be home for dinner for his sister. And then we get back, and then this is when like the war starts. This is when the battle starts. All of the troopers land, and it
Premor, I think they're called, right? Like something like that.
yeah, yeah.
The Premor enforcement.
Yes. So they land in their ships that look very similar to Republic gunships, but are a little bit different. Um, and it was almost like, did you see the movie Black Hawk Down?
You know what? It's another one I haven't seen.
Okay, so it's a great movie. It's a horrible subject matter
Right.
because one of the
It's a true
American,
story,
yeah,
right?
it's a true story, but one of the American Blackhawks gets shot down in I forget the African country that they were in.
Is it
Eh,
Burma?
no,
I'm trying to remember when that was.
I forget. But anyway, but it's like everything. It's almost like a Mike Tyson quote. Everybody has a game plan until I punch them in the mouth.
Right.
And like that's what these guys were. They had their game plan, and then suddenly everything went wrong. Somalia, yes. And then everything goes wrong for them. They just thought they were going to walk in, Cash and Andor was just going to be sitting there. They're going to be able to scoop them up and take them out. And
that's the same arrogance he's talking about later.
yeah, yeah. And then instead, they go to his mom's house and they're like ransacking everything. And he goes, we could stop this if you just told us where he was. She's not telling where he is. That's not going to happen.
Meanwhile, all of the citizens are outside getting pissed that they're like disturbing and messing up an old lady's house.
Yeah, and the people at the desks, the guy that was eating the blue ramen when Melvin walks in, they even were like, "Are you sure you want us to do that?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "We're in charge of that planet." They're like, "They do things differently down there." He's like, "I don't care. This is what we're gonna do." They're like, "All right, it's on you. Like when this goes wrong, it's all on you." Um, so then they're getting mad that they're ransacking this old lady's house. Then they start, banging all the metal, and
yeah,
and it
there's all
was
these clearly this is a signal that they
yeah,
all have, and they've got these metal sheets on all these different structures, and
yep.
clearly like it's like a beacon sort of a situation where someone does it and they hear it, another one
Another
starts,
one
and it's
starts,
all
and it's like warning, bad
yeah.
guys are
They
here.
start closing like it's like in New York City where they had like
The pull down
yeah,
metal
they
doors.
start
Yep.
pulling them all down.
They're like, all right, we're gonna protect our stuff because the S is gonna hit the fan real
Yep.
soon.
Meanwhile, Premor security is walking through just like, well, this is normal.
This is normal. This
Nothing
is what
to be
we,
concerned about.
yeah.
Surely.
There's nothing to see here. And then he's like, um, we're getting kind of a crowd out there. Should we leave one person behind? And the sergeant's like, no, let's leave two
Maybe
behind.
two.
Maybe two.
Might be good.
And then
But then Marva gets super smug, man.
yeah.
She's like, it gets to you, doesn't it? This is nice, but it's when it stops.
It's when
that you gotta be worried.
And then the one guy's like, what happens when it stops? He's like, I just want to go home. I don't want to be here anymore. Please don't let it stop. And then, at
Spoiler
the same
alert,
time,
it stops.
it stops. At the same time, Cashin's talking to
what's his freak? I just had his name.
He just had his name again.
Lamar Jabrank. What's his name?
Lamar Jabroni.
Lamar Jabroni. No,
Yes.
it's got to be. Man, Star Wars names are hard.
They are hard. Lutheran Rawl. Yeah.
Rawl.
So then he's talking to Rawl, and Rawl knew
a lot
about Andor. He knew a lot about what was going on. The one line that he said that I was like, was when he had his comm on him and he was calling back to BB Emo, and he's like, "You have your comm on you. Never have your comm on you." And then he like smashes it. But I know Luke and Han have had their comms on them before, but maybe because they're on a secure network.
It's like CCTV.
Yeah, it's closed caption,
circuit.
closed
so they're
circuit.
like, all right, we know exactly where all of our little circuits are.
Yeah, so maybe that's what he's referring to. Like, because he did say, never have something on you that you can't control. So if you're just using the free Wi-Fi, don't do it on the free Wi-Fi. Make sure you do it on your personal Wi-Fi,
or at least get NordVPN.
Get a NordVPN, 2 or 3 of them.
This episode brought to you by NordVPN.
NordVPN.
Seriously, though, like I hear a lot of podcasts with NordVPN as a sponsor. We got to contact them, right? And
this will be the perfect time for it because
here.
it'll protect yourself from letting the bad guys know where you are.
Yeah,
but at the same time, when the bad guys are standing right next to your droid unit when you're calling him, then it even with NordVPN, although it would have helped because they wouldn't have been able to find him because they were able to track him from his phone conversation.
Not the most spy-like intuition for Andor.
No, no, not at all. So then answer me. Why won't you answer me? Maybe he's not answering you because something bad is happening.
Yeah, right.
Like anytime they did it and it was either with BB-8 or it was with R2. R2, where are you? It was like when they're on the ship and R2's like he's
Yep.
hiding in the corner, but it's
Yep.
like echoing all over the place. So then, Luther's talking to him and he's trying to explain to him like he's like if I take the
He
box,
said it was rule number 1: never carry anything you don't control.
you don't control, yes. And then rule number 2 was plan your
Always
escape
build
route
your exit. It says build your exit on your way in.
on your way in. Yeah, that was a good line
Yeah.
also. But he's like, look, if I just get the box, I'll be okay with that. But I want more than the box.
Right.
And I liked when he was like, I'll give you 1,000 more credits if you tell me how you got it. He goes, 1,000 credits, done.
Yeah. It was cool seeing the credits whipped out too. Like
Yeah.
you don't often see just
No, you
like,
don't see the
like
metal
credit
credits.
chips
Yeah,
and stuff like that. It's just apparently they come in denominations of 10,000.
10,000 because he had 4 of them.
So they're
Like,
like,
here
that's
it is.
10,000. That's
Yep.
10,000. All right, those are pretty, and they were pretty nice looking. So
They-
I guess
yeah.
they're gold or something.
Yeah, they were. Can you imagine? Like, I'm happy that we have paper money, or even in this case, just like iWatches, Venmo, whatever, where you don't have to carry any money at all. Can you imagine having a pocket full of, and they were big, like
Yeah.
they're not quarters, they're not nickels and dimes, they're like 3 inches long, 4
Imagine the
inches
wallet
long.
that bad boy
The
goes
I
in.
know, man, that's a lot of metal you're carrying
You
around.
think they
on you.
banned like so you get a trifold wallet or a bifold wallet?
But you have different slots for the different
It's
denominations.
like the credit card slots.
Yeah. So he's trying to get him to join the rebellion, and I couldn't tell if he was stalling on purpose to make it a more like crucial escape where he basically forced him into going with him because it was
Right.
like you have to come with me now or we're all gonna die type of a thing.
Right.
Or if he was just like really just he knew that he needed to get him because he was so smart and so into it that he needed him helping him out. So he was gonna stay until he got him or die trying. I'm not sure which it was.
I think we'll probably find out in the
Yeah,
next couple
in
episodes.
the next couple
exactly
episodes.
why he seems like this guy's so important, or
Yeah.
why they like specifically searched him out. So, but yeah, it could have been that, I don't know, because he was very clearly like pretty pissed off when the dude wouldn't just run. And he
Yeah.
was trying to get the box.
Trying to get the box back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I
Which
guess
proved to be futile.
right.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, because then they got destroyed anyway, right?
I mean, we didn't see it get destroyed. We saw
Okay.
a whole bunch of stuff fall,
Right.
and he wasn't able to get to it.
Yeah. Did he never get it? I guess.
No, I
I
don't
guess
think
he
he
never
did.
did get it.
But I
Okay.
don't know that we ever saw it destroyed. So I'm wondering if it'll come back, or if it was just like the the thing that he needed to get. You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
this is,
right.
it doesn't matter what this is. He just needed to get it in this thing, and it has outgrown its usefulness. So now it's destroyed.
But at the same time, in true Star Wars lore, we didn't see the explosion. So the bad guy's not dead. So we didn't see the box blow up. So the box could be there still.
Could be in play.
Could be in play. So then they tracked him down. They know where they are. They started to come attacking him. And then they get
And
a nice
Stellan proves to be the coolest dude ever.
yes.
Like this is when he decides to take out all of his badass quotes.
Yep.
He was like, "I know everything.
Yep. He's like
I came prepared."
I came prepared. So they're escaping because Andor doesn't die until the movie, so of course he's not going to die now.
Nope.
So they get out, they escape, and then they get back to his mom's house, and Melvin is there. He's like hiding,
Yep.
and then Andor has the gun in his face, and it's
Yeah,
like
right up on his head.
right up on his head, and it's like he's like, "How many of you are there?" He's like,
He gives up all the goods.
he does
right away.
right away. He's
Like,
he's a
barely
weak
any
man.
hesitation.
Yeah, he's like 12 of us, 2 captains, or two
officers,
officers, 12 people, and then I like, he was like, "Kill him, I'll kill him." And he's like, "No," he's like, "There's 12 of us, I'll tell you." But Lutheran was like, he was ready to kill him. He's like, "We don't need you here."
Yep.
So then everything. Oh, they sneak away then because they know what they're up against, and they know how many people they've killed, and then they're in the next scene. They're in the garage.
Yep.
And he's like, "Let's pick one," and then you see the first one going down the street, which was cool. It looked like they did this with a bunch of other things where they look like old cars,
Right.
but a Star Wars version of an old car. So it
Yep.
kind of looked like it could have been like a car from the 50s,
Yeah, like an old Buick or
like
something
an
from the
old Buick,
50s.
yeah, like a big old
Big
car, big
boxy. Yeah.
boxy, a trunk that you could stick six people in when you're going to the drive-in movie theater.
Yeah, and they dropped a cinder block on the gas pedal
Yeah,
and like just let it
just let
go.
it go,
And then
and
they're sitting there on the motorcycle just like waiting.
waiting. Yeah, and of course, the Melvin runs out and he's like, "There they are, shoot them!"
And
And
they crash and he has that moment of smile and happiness like we did it.
we did it, we win.
Wrong.
Wrong, and then here comes the
Zoom.
speeder bike, zoom, right
And
past
then
him.
I knew it was coming, this explosion.
The explosion had to come, yeah.
Yeah.
So then he's got a little detonator in his hand and he blows it up, which was very fun. And it was good that they were on a fast speeder bike and not a stupid Vespa.
Yeah, somehow they learned about velocity
Yes.
in this show. So
Uh,
kudos to the director.
Kudos to the director to say we are not having a slow motion chase scene.
No.
We're doing this the right way. So then they fly away and we see Brex. She's like running to try and save him, and the police officers are like, "Stop!" and they handcuff her. And then that's when
They hurt her and stuff.
they hurt her, and the boyfriend comes to save the day.
Thank goodness.
And
Thank
nope, we
goodness he
were
was
wrong.
there.
We thought for sure he was going to live, and boom,
Turns out
turns
he
out
didn't.
laser bolt to the
Right
chest,
to the chest.
and he died just feet away from Brex.
That's going to cause some emotional baggage.
It will cost. It definitely will. And then I like the other scene when they were telling the guy to go back and get the ship. We need air support.
Yep.
And the other friend tied the ship down to
to it like a tank or
to a
something.
tank or
a
something
big
like that.
Freaking, and it's just drags the thing up.
So that's been in like I would say 5 or 6 other movies where they've done something like that. But one of them that it was in was American Graffiti, which
Okay.
was
Yeah.
George
Lucas,
Lucas's
right.
first movie. So somebody said that it was like an homage to
Sure.
George Lucas, which it very well could have been.
Oh yeah, I'd imagine they probably.
But they've done it in quite a few other movies after that as well. I think it was even in Blues Brothers. I think they did something
I think
similar
you're
to
right.
that in Blues Brothers as well. But it's a great trick. And then what they don't know, the cops on the ground think that it's the people of the town shooting at them and blasting things. And he's like,
Right.
"We're surrounded." But what
Yeah.
it actually was their own dumb pilot who flew up, got the tank stuck in a part of the building, and then it wrapped back around and blew itself up. So
Yep.
they weren't attacking them; they were attacking themselves. So the police officers, everything went wrong for them.
I loved seeing Melvin like walk through the wreckage
Uh-huh.
because like you got to think about what he's thinking. Like if you stay at the surface level, you think here's this dude who's like he's shell shocked and he's like, man, I can't believe that just happened. And he clearly was in over his head. But like if you think like go to the level deeper and you're going, if he had he's in his brain, he could be going, if I had listened to my boss.
Yeah.
And like redirect it as anger towards
Uh-huh.
them. And then we see, his buddy Linus go like, dude, let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, like we got to get out of here. Like everything went wrong. We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here now. But yeah, and also now he's going when the captain comes back, he's got a lot of Lucy, you got
a lot
something
of
explaining to do.
Another reference.
That the kids won't understand.
No.
So he is going to have to explain how these two soldiers should have just been given even
nice
if they give
little
him a parade, a
bow.
little bow, thank you for your service. You helped an old lady across the street, and in the process,
Maybe like somewhere down the street, they like put a little plaque, hang it
yeah,
for them in that alley,
in
saying,
that alley. Yep.
here died two brave men fighting for the rights of of our Ferrex Pete, whatever it is."
Right.
But
But no,
no,
no.
not
Now he
anymore.
has to explain why they invaded the town, why they blew up all the stuff, and why now more soldiers are dead,
Plus some civilians.
plus some civilians, and
And
it's going
there's
to
a
do
tank
nothing but
that got wrapped around a building
yeah,
and blew up a bunch of
blew
shit
up a
and
building up in
stuff.
the sky. Yeah, and it's just going to be a whole lot of cleaning up to do.
Quite a bit of paperwork.
Yes. So one of the other YouTubers said that they think that this guy is going to, because he's so by the book, going to turn to the rebellion and become part of the rebellion, kind of like the way Hux did.
Interesting.
I don't think so, though,
No, I can't do
because
that.
I think he's just going to hate them even more
Yep.
because they got him into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It's their fault that I think he's going to become even more evil and go to the
He's
and
gonna up the ante.
up the ante.
Because now it's personal
Yeah,
almost. So now he's got like personal skin in the game, and so he's not done. He's
he's
like,
not done. No,
I gotta get this guy no matter
he's
what.
going to get more people, and he might even get like the true empire themselves involved, and
Right.
taking a whole destroyer to wherever they find Andor later and whatever. So I don't think he's going to be the white knight that turns. I
No.
think he's going to be an even bigger antagonist, right? That's the
Yeah,
bad guy.
that's the
Yeah.
one.
So I don't know. So that's a rundown of all
All
three of the
three
four
apps
episodes,
in
first
a
episodes.
nice tidy 95 minutes.
That's right. We're right at the same amount of time as the shows themselves
That's
lasted.
right. But the shows that I'm not trying to disrespect any of the new Star Wars, but the shows don't quite have the pizzazz we do.
Correct.
We deliver it in a way that I
In
don't think they can.
Nope, in a much more fun way.
Yeah,
There's a lot
more
of banter.
professional.
Yeah, a lot more
Yeah.
professional. There's a lot of banter here at BanthaMilk.
Yeah, but not as much.
Not as much on the show, but we do reference all of their good jokes, so at least they get that in. We get that
That is
in.
true. But we're gonna be coming back with you probably in the next couple days with
Yeah.
a brand new episode for probably a lot shorter episode.
Right.
For episode 4, which comes out Wednesday evening. So please make sure you check us out on Spotify. Check us out on whatever Apple Music,
Apple
right?
Music,
Apple Podcasts,
iTunes, Apple Podcast.
Go to our website, YouTube. Yeah, if you're listening to us on Spotify, go and check out our YouTube because then you get to see our dance at the beginning, and that's nice.
Yes, it is a lot of fun, and there was Podvine.
Podvine. Is that a new one?
It's a new one, and
check us out on Podvine.
Your podcast claim code. We got an email from Podvine. It says, so either you or an avid or curious fan have asked for you to claim your podcast on Podvine, the social podcast platform. Upon claiming, you will have access to the best community engagement, commenters, and live chat with your listeners.
Sounds like a scam to me, Rob.
It does sound like a scam. So I signed up on your computer.
Of course.
All it needed was a
wondering...
social security number, credit card number, and the name of my firstborn child.
I gotta tell you, whoever you just sold my information to is going to be very sad when they try and use
when they try to use your credit card.
They're going to be like, I'm going to apply for some credit under this guy's name, and they're going to be like,
dude,
okay,
this guy's worse off than I am, and I'm living in a van down by the river.
Down by the river,
you'll be living in a van.
Oh, I miss Chris Farley.
He was awesome.
Anyway, it has been a delight. We hope we catch you later on this week for episode 4's rundown.
Yes.
Make sure you check out all of our friends at Ears Up Podcast.
Yep.
Check out Sea Isle Mixed Iced Tea.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
Rob quite enjoyed it. He finished the whole thing.
I did finish the whole thing. It was, only 12 ounces.
12 ounces of delight
12 ounces.
And flavor.
It was like weak iced tea, but after drinking it, my head's feeling good.
Nice. Love it.
So unlike regular iced tea, that's a little bit more iced tea. My head doesn't feel this way afterwards. Maybe I should take this to school.
Yeah, that'd go well.
It would go well. It's only iced tea.
I've always said I was born in the wrong era because, oh
my gosh,
teachers of the 50s, you have a really bad lesson. You open your drawer and there's a bottle of whiskey in there. You just pour it. Oh, that's terrible. And then the next class comes in.
Yeah,
that's frowned upon these days.
So when you're in kindergarten, you're 5, right? 73, 74, 75, 76, 77.
There you go. Same year
So
Star Wars came out, 10 years before I was born. Come
yeah,
on.
so that's awesome. So 77, so kindergarten, 78 first grade, 79 second grade, 80 third grade. I remember my elementary school, and I remember um, once being able to go into the teacher's lounge to get something off the Ditto machine.
Sure.
It was like walking into a cloud.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the smoking.
The smoking that was allowed in the teacher's lounge, it was like, oh my gosh, like you walked in and you were like, oh, my eyes are burning.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I was only in second grade at the time, but I'm pretty sure not only were my eyes burning, but I have a feeling somebody had some alcoholic beverage in
That
there
wouldn't
as
shock me.
well. In the late 70s, I'm pretty sure it was still like kind of allowed to, drink on the job. But then for some reason we were born 30 years too late, and
When they had standards for professionalism.
yeah, you're not allowed to be drunk at work
Weird.
around children. How weird.
How weird that must
How
be.
weird that must be.
Either way,
Yes.
we were BanthaMilk podcast. We used to be teachers. Now we're fighting.
Now we are working at McDonald's.
That's
Would you
right.
like fries with that?
Oh, man. But check us out later this week, and we